Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Nicoletti. Joining me today is Canberra Croatia NPLW coach Nick Brozinic ahead of their Federation Cup final clash, 2 p.m. Saturday at Deakin Stadium. Nick, how's it going today? And thanks for joining me.
Yeah, it's good. Had a good day today, and thanks for having me again.
Anytime. It was a big 2-0 victory against Belconnen United in the semi-finals that got you to this point. What did you make of how that match played out?
Yeah, look, it was good. I think we played a good game of football. It was competitive as it always is against Belconnen. That one really came down to us creating enough chances to be clinical enough to win. And defensively, we were pretty sound in that game. So I think it's going to have to be a very similar performance to win this weekend.
And the other match in your road to the final included a 5-2 victory over the CUA, Canberra United Academy, whom have caused you guys a bit of problems already this season. So what did you take from that performance?
Yeah, look, CUA seemed to be a little bit of a bogey team, I guess, as such for us at the moment. You know, they've picked up a draw and a win against us in the normal season. I think, you know, partly to the amount of intensity that they play with. Obviously the weekend's game against them was a little bit frustrating for us. But that 5-2 victory was again, we created plenty of chances and managed to bury some. I think overall it was a positive performance, and our road through the Fed Cup so far has been, as has the season so far. We seem to be playing well enough football. Our combinations are building. We've got some new players there that have come into the middle of the park in Jenny Bissett, and we've got Olivia Fogarty up top. All those combinations between them and our spine that's been there for a while now are really starting to develop. Hopefully that can continue into the weekend's game.
And of course, all those matches led you to the final against West Canberra Wanderers. How will you guys be preparing for that one? I know you guys beat them during the season, but they've improved quite a bit since then. And usually a final, sometimes form goes out the window.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, they've been in great form, and over the last 7 weeks, you know, Emma's had them sort of improving gradually week by week. You know, they got a big result against Belconnen 2 weeks ago. Even on the weekend, you know, they lost, but they played some good football, and they have been for the last few weeks. They're another team like Canberra United that come with a whole lot of intensity and press and collective work rate. So we're going to have to be very, very careful. You know, we've done a lot of work this week on countering and working against a press on the back of that loss to Canberra United on the weekend. We know we're going to expect another physical game like that tomorrow night, or on Saturday afternoon, sorry.
Of course, you guys are the reigning NPLW champions, so a good chunk of your side have experienced finals. So what's the feeling around the squad leading into this Fed Cup final?
Yeah, look, it's positive. I think the weekend's result, look, I don't want to say it's a good thing for us, but I think it's good to be able to taste defeat as a squad and understand what that feels like. I know that the girls, from the conversations we had yesterday evening at training, don't want to feel that again, so they're super motivated coming into this Fed Cup final. And, you know, I think the performance in that defeat was actually, there were a lot of positives that we can take out of that coming into this Fed Cup game. You know, we created endless opportunities. It was just the clinical nature of our finishing and an extremely informed goalkeeper that day that kept us out. So I think if we can put in a performance similar to that and a little bit better, I guess, coming into a cup final, you know, I think we'll be in good stead and hopefully be able to take it away.
And you mentioned there your loss against CUA Academy is your first loss of the season. So it's only still early days in the season, but what do you make of how your side's performed through the first eight rounds of the season?
Yeah, look, as always, we started the season a touch slowly, had a couple of sort of rough results or rough performances, but we still managed to get a result and get a draw or a win out of some of those early games. And that's pretty consistent with what we did last year, actually. So I think we're building well. We're building well again. Momentum's there. Obviously, we had that loss on the weekend, but even I know when we spoke earlier in the season, it's a long season this year. It's 21 rounds. Each team is stronger than they were last year and in previous seasons. So I never thought it was going to be realistic for us to go undefeated again. There are going to be football games that you do lose, and it's about how we respond to them and how we pick ourselves up and go again the following week. That's going to be the most important thing, and whether be the difference between whether we win a championship again or not this year.
And last year, you mentioned several times, and as well in the preseason, about your sort of thin squad last season. So it seems like you got a bit more depth now. Grace Gill hasn't played all the games so far this season. So, and a lot of other players have stepped up in certain players' absences. So are you happy with the squad depth you have at the moment?
Yeah, and that's the most important thing that we have coming out of last season into a longer season this year is we do have depth. We brought in a bunch of brilliant young footballers and also some very experienced footballers into the team this year. So it gives us that ability that when we are missing one or two key integral players in our team, that I have every bit of faith that I've got somebody there sitting on the side that's going to step in and do just as good a job as whoever's unavailable. And that's been, it's been present throughout the year. Like you said, Grace hasn't played a number of games, as Chantel's been away a number of games. Jamie Berkeley was unavailable for a few weeks as well. And, the players that stepped in and did the job, did a fantastic job and still got us a result at the end of the day.
And we've mentioned it's early days, but what do you make of how competitive the NPLW is this season? There seems to be like 6 teams fighting for the top 4, which we didn't have last season, or it hasn't been like that in previous seasons. So what do you make of how competitive it's been?
Yeah, look, I think it's brilliant for the competition. Like you said, there's a genuine top 6, and I say that as a top 6. There's not 1 or 2, and then the rest are fighting for 3rd and 4th. There's a genuine 6 teams that, if they keep performing the way they are and they have done so far at the start of the season, that could genuinely take out the competition this year. I don't think anybody's played each other and walked away with an easy result. There are a few sort of rough results early on in the season when there are a couple of teams still finding their feet, but those teams have really developed the way they're playing over the last few weeks. And yeah, I don't think there's going to be one game that we go into this season feeling as though we're comfortable. It's great for the competition. It's great for the girls. And it's something that we've spoken about over the last few years as coaches to one another, is that we want competitive fixtures week in, week out. We don't want to be playing 4 competitive fixtures throughout a whole calendar year. So, it's what we've worked towards and it's what we've got, and it's fantastic for the competition.
Is there anything you want to say to the Canberra Croatia fans, sponsors, broader community heading into the big match this week?
Oh, look, I hope we can put on a good performance for you guys and bring home a trophy. It'll be our first Federation Cup. We've won a few trophies over the last few years, but this is the one that's eluded us a bit. We've always seemed to catch a tough semi-final draw and be on the wrong end of some tight games there and haven't made the final. So we're here this year, and I guess the hope is that we can take away this piece of silverware early on in the season. Also love them all to come out and watch us and support the female program at the club. Unfortunately, our boys didn't make it to the FFA Cup final, had a tough loss to Monaro out there in penalty shootout. So I'd love to see them all come out and support us and get behind us on the weekend.
And I'm sure what everyone wants to know is, are the rolled up 3/4 pants going to be making a appearance in the FA Cup final?
Look, it's a 2 p.m. kickoff. If the sun's out, might get the calves out.